everyone, welcome to Daryl and Egan's video for the module TULS2208. We would like to introduce you to the stars of our project to address what nature is, what it is to us, and what our role is in nature. We will be giving our final answers at the end, so stay tuned.
Now, the start of our project can be found very close to us near Cinnamon College. So we start from the lobby of Cinnamon College, walk out to the driveway, and take a ride. There isn't a need to venture far. This can be found in our very own Berlin Wharf Fragment Park behind Cinnamon College. These insects have about 5 nests in here. Moreover, these little guys can be found right at our doorsteps. If you head up the hill outside the dining hall of Cinnamon College, there are plenty of them here.
So who are these special animals? Let us introduce you to the weaver ants of Berlin Wall Park and Dining Hall Hill. We managed to find 9 of these nests at the hill of the dining hall. But when we came back a week later, more new nests were made. It's constantly a work in progress. These nests are inhabited by weaver ants. Like other ants, weaver ants are from the family Formicidae. They are hymenopterans, which are the same order as wasps and bees. Queen ants are usually found in the largest nests in an area such as this. Queen ants are responsible for laying eggs. They are characteristically green in color while other workers are brown. Moreover, they are much larger in size and have a bigger gaster. This specimen is an alate, which means she is winged. Alates are not queens yet, but she will be once she flies out to mate with a male alate to start her own colony. For the anatomy of ants, they have constricted ways between the first and second abdominal segments, which are called the petiole. What defines ants are these nodes on their petioles. Another defining feature is their antennae. Their antennae is also geniculate, which means a sharp bend. Weaver ants have very interesting social behaviors. Weaver ants communicate via several ways such as touch and pheromones. Ants can use their antennae to touch each other to communicate. As for pheromones, they'll leave a trail of chemicals wherever they find food, or there's an intruder which signals other ants to follow the trail. Weaver ants have a really exciting hierarchy too. The colony is split into 4 different roles: queens, alates, workers, and larvae. Workers are split into 2 groups. The first is the majors. These are the workers of the colony which are in charge of foraging, defense, and exploring. These majors have excellent defense and teamwork. When an intruder invades the nest, majors will use their strong mandibles to hold the intruder by their body parts. The beetle here is being held by their legs and antennae. The ants will then use their strength to hold it tight and pull it apart in different directions. The second group of workers are the miners, which are mostly in the nest. This is why the ants we see crawling on the outside of the nest are mostly majors. They are in charge of cleaning the larvae and eggs as well as taking care of them. There is a clear difference in the appearance of these ants. The miners have much smaller hind legs and bodies compared to the majors. Something really interesting we observed was a clear display of hierarchy and designated roles. As soon as we tried to pick up the miner darts back in quickly. The majors, on the other hand, rush to defend the miners. There is a clear difference in behaviors which is reflective of their roles in the nest. Majors are clearly more aggressive, which makes them suitable for foraging and defense. We can see how more majors swarm to where we disturb them, possibly using pheromones to alert the others. Lastly, we have our larvae, which is taken care of by the miners. The larvae are small and white. They have a part to play in building the nest. Even if they do not have the defenses of the majors, they are still crucial to the colony. Every member of the colony has a designated role.
Weaver ants get their names from their nests. There is a main nest and multiple satellite ones. The main nest contains a queen and is usually much larger than the satellite nest and is the most heavily guarded. Satellite nests, on the other hand, create more space to contain eggs and larvae. Weaver ants weave the nest together with leaves. After measuring some leaves, we notice that they like leaves that are of a certain length, texture, and shape. They often use several leaves or leaflets of compound leaves, and even one big leaf bent into a desirable shape. Their nests are held together by silk produced by larvae. Workers hold the larvae in their mouth, which are the mandibles, and squeeze them at the area they want to weave together. They then wave the larvae around to spread the silk out. The larvae are not harmed. In turn, they are stored in this nest for protection with the eggs. The silk is strong and can hold together several leaves and cover holes in the leaves. It is also waterproof to prevent water from seeping through the holes and into the nest. Sometimes these nests get abandoned. We are not very sure when the ants decide it's time to make a new nest, but it could be when it starts to tear apart to the point it cannot be fixed. But these nests are usually well built and can be reused by other insects. We even found a forest roach seeking shelter in one of these abandoned nests.
Weaver ants display a prime example of symbiosis. Obviously, they make use of plants, but there's another unlikely animal they have a relationship with. It's the mealybug. Mealybugs to them are much like cows to us. Mealybugs are very small and appear as these small white spots on the stems of the branches of these plants. They can also be found on the inside of the nest on the leaves. They look like this. These are their dorsal and ventral sides. While being protected, they feed on the sap of the tree by piercing the xylems using their stylets and produce honeydew from their rear ends. The weaver ants in turn stroke the mealybugs, which allows them to collect these honeydew to feed the colony. The ants are aggressive and will protect their mealybug farms as it is their source of food. Plant eaters and herbivores get fended off and killed if they intend to disturb the plant and eventually the ant's nest. However, this can prevent pollinators from coming to the plants that could be detrimental to them. Moreover, mealybugs are also seen as a pest which may damage the plant's health.
Weaver ants are so interesting, aren't they? But not everyone knows about the wonderful world of weaver ants, unfortunately. They are heavily misunderstood. When we carried out a survey, these were some opinions gathered. People were scared of them biting them and even sharing online horror stories about stepping on ant nests. Weaver ants are doing what nature made them to do, but they seem to get a bad reputation. Therefore, we want to change that perception by using knowledge and exposure to show people that ants are so much more complex. We thus decided to have an exhibition. The next few weeks, we went out to observe the ants at the Berlin Wall Park and the hill next to the dining hall, journaling the various behaviors and observations. We decided to capture a few nests to see their contents as well as to bring them to people in a safe manner. We wanted to show that the ants have a certain social behavior as well as to find a way to get participants close to an ant's nest without feeling afraid or repulsed. The aim was to introduce them to the weaver ants that will pique some curiosity instead of fear.
We also pinned several ants to make it easier for our audience to observe them without the fear of getting bitten.
So, on exhibition day, the turnout was really amazing. We had our two nests, which we cut open to show the cross-section, our pin ends, which were the several majors, minors, and the queen elite, and lastly, we had our live nest in a tank. Our participants seemed really curious and amazed at our setup. We explained to them our weaver ants and their behaviors, which were met with many eager questions. At the end of the entire exhibition, we wanted to know if perspectives were changed. We decided to interview several of the participants to see what they thought about the weaver ants now. How has your perspective about weaver ants changed?
Previously, I didn't have much of an opinion about weaver ants, but then now I feel like there's a lot more going on in their community than I thought.
So at first, by their appearance, because they're red and they go around in groups, they seem very aggressive. But now I know that they're actually very purposeful and they don't really attack aimlessly unless they're agitated.
What helped you to change your perspective?
I think the exhibition and the way you guys explain like how they function and their hierarchical structure was the most insightful for me.
Oh, so the thing that helped me change my perspective was your exhibition with the opened up nest, the weaver ant nest, because that was the first time I ever saw the inside before, and also was the first time I saw the queen in it. So before I never saw the inner workings of it, so it was really cool to imagine how they actually work together when they were alive.
What new things do you learn about weaver ants?
Well, I actually learned that they have this hierarchy among themselves, that there's majors and there are minor worker ants. So the minor ants are the ones who help to care for the young, and there are some ants who are also using the larva to spin the silk to keep the nest together.
I didn't know that there were species of ants in the first place, but I do think that the way they use their larva to produce silk for their nest was pretty cool.
What do you think can be done in the future to help other people change their misconceptions about ants?
I think they can hold more exhibitions like these for people to actually see the way and different ants work in their different different habitats. So you can actually help people to understand that ants actually they operate much like humans, so they have different positions for different ants, and each ant has their own job to do. Yeah, so it's pretty much like a human society, and I think doing more of these exhibitions where you teach people about this can actually help them understand and appreciate ants more.
I think having more theoretical knowledge and like physically touching them or seeing them up close will help people like understand ants more and change their misconceptions that they're actually not that scary.
Although these are only some opinions, according to our survey, more than 4/5 of our participants experienced a change in their opinions of river ants. Knowledge can really shape and change opinions. It is possible to change all of these misconceptions that people once had. Okay, alright. Camera's rolling.
Camera rolling.
Let's go.
Okay. So after weeks of preparation, it's come to our final conclusive thoughts. So we were swarmed by ants, observed them under the sun, and then we worked together. So Daryl, what do you think nature is to us?
I think nature to me is basically many parts put together. There's a relationship between ants, especially the colony itself. Moreover, there is a symbiotic relationship between all the organisms that keep the ecosystem going.
Okay, so nature to me is greatly misunderstood. So many misconceptions, and we see it in the ants. And there are also so many opinions tagged to these animals that are objectively just trying to survive. So when we combine our statements together, we realize that nature is many different parts together, which is heavily misunderstood. Yet nature is also a tool that can help us to dispel all these misconceptions. The exhibition showed us that misconceptions and opinions can be changed when people got to know more about nature's complexities and the relationships with other plants.
So that brings us to, what is our place then in a natural world? Our role is to help convey nature's complexities and bridge the gap of knowledge to help dispel the negative opinions. We are there to plant that seed of curiosity in people so that they will go out there and do their own exploration. This was widely successful as we saw what nature did for people and are already doing in their lives. So we were able to present it in a very simple, easy to understand format that people felt comfortable understanding.
Okay, so on a more personal note, we also realized that nature can also bring people together. So this ANT project has allowed me and Daryl to get to know each other better and work together. And also at the same time, the exhibition allowed us to reach out and talk to many members of USP that we did not know well. And nature also has provided a common interest and passion that unites people.
So we would like to thank you for joining with us and the river ants of Berlin Wall Park and the dining hall here. So sorry they had to take a nest, but yeah. We also like to thank everyone that helped us in this project, for helping us in the interviews and also helping us film some parts. We hope that your opinions about the ants have been changed as well. We hope that you will also see yourself as an important messenger for not only the ants but nature. There are still a lot of misconceptions out there that needs clearing up. So thanks and goodbye.
Roll out!